Harry has to take responsibility. And if you look at the bigger picture, everything is everybody else's fault, but never theirs. And that is one of the things that I think people find frustrating, that there are two sides to every argument.
Who needs dirty laundry when you have dog bowls, Nazi costumes, and broken necklaces to air in public? Let's speak to TalkTV's royal correspondent Rupert Bell about some of the details that have come out from the leak of Prince Harry's book. Morning to you, Rupert.
Good morning. My morning's got a little different than expected.
I don't know. I quite honestly don't know where to start, Rupert. Which one would you like to pick first?
I think we better start with the fight in November 2019. Does that seem a good starting point?
Go on then.
Well, basically, they came to blows over all the issues about basically William saying to Harry that Meghan is causing all these problems, and of course he then starts defending his wife, and they come to what appears to be fisticuffs at the end of it, with a broken necklace, and then William coming back and saying, apologizing, please don't tell Meghan, but then of course he does, and it basically highlights what a lot of people know, that their relationship has broken down. And actually at the heart of it, it's just sad, because they were so very close, and we in the build up to the wedding, and everything was about how they were a good team. But once it then changed, the dynamic changed, and once, obviously, when Harry found Meghan, the dynamic completely changed, and clearly the relationship started to fracture from that moment onwards, and it became a different set of circumstances. And it's just very sad. And what's also sad is that Harry feels the need to air his dirty laundry in public to such an extent.
Reading around it a bit more, because it sounds kind of plausibly like, they were very close, and then someone else comes in, and this happens in families up and down the country. Someone comes in, a new husband, a new wife, and that upsets the dynamic. But there seems to be stuff in this that suggests that actually their relationship was a bit, I suppose it would be, imbalanced, a bit unequal before all of this.
Well, just because probably of the situation within the family, that, he was spared. He was the heir, he is the younger brother. So in a sense, what's his role in the great scheme of things? Because he's not destined to get the big job, as it were. And so therefore you do feel, excuse me, a sense of isolation, perhaps, because you know that everything you're doing, you're really just helping your elder brother. But that has been a historical issue, and the jealousy of the sort of younger brother throughout history. And this is just manifesting itself once again. And it is sad that, that I'm sure Diana is probably, one thing she wanted with them was for the brothers to look after each other, because she knew how difficult it could be for them. And actually here one of the points in the extract is that the king's saying, please try and almost pleading with them, I don't want this to be at the heart of my reign, particularly when he's in his 70s, that this is going to be the defining thing, is the feud between his children. And that's what's so sad about it.
And now the Nazi uniform story, where he's basically saying that, I was undecided whether I should go as a pilot or a Nazi, which is, strange in itself. But anyway, and he phoned up William and Kate, and they were like, oh, yes, it'll be absolutely riotous. It'll be hilarious if you do this. Should he just be taking responsibility? He was ultimately the one who wore it wrongly. Or is this him trying to hit back at the kind of chip away at the image that Prince William has of being kind of beyond reproach?
Well, this may be in the category of recollections may vary, the Queen's famous statement. But the point is, he should be taking accountability. And one of the things that throughout everything we've read, he blames everybody else. And this is the fact. It's never his. He, in the end, got photographed wearing that Nazi uniform. He has to take account. It's the same in everything. Yes, you would advise. Now, I do not know whether this conversation took place, but Harry says it clearly did. And yes, it does sort of chip away at the veneer and the image that William and Kate want to create, that clearly they may have some issues or something going on. But at the heart of it, Harry has to take responsibility. And if you look at the bigger picture, everything is everybody else's fault, but never theirs. And that is one of the things that I think people find frustrating, that there are two sides to every argument, and there's no exception in this, and breakdown and fallout. If you take it to the political situation, you've got the rail strike saying one thing and the boss is saying one thing, and then you've got to try and get together. And you take that to a family situation, these two have just somehow got to find to talk their way back to having that relationship that clearly before Meghan and everything looked on the face of it very strong.
Rupert, thank you for that. That's Talk TV's royal correspondent, Rupert Bell.
Is it sad or is it laughable, I suppose, is the question that I wonder about. G says the last time Harold and William clashed in 1066, it didn't end well for Harold. It's funny. Because the idea of two grown men, 37 and 35, one wearing a necklace itself, grappling with each other and breaking the dog bowl.
There's obviously a lot of...
It's childish, isn't it?
It is, but there's a lot of hurt there, especially, they lost their mother.
Well, I
mean, that has a huge impact on you, doesn't it?
Well, that's
and one of you is going to be the king of the country.
Yeah, but there's no way back for this. That's the other point. Surely, there's no way if you're William, you think, I'm going to let him do this. And I also wonder
with all the interviews, Anderson Cooper, the Tom Bradby, etc., does anyone ever say that to him? Is anything ever your fault?
Yeah.
Is there something that you think you did wrong that you could have done better? I mean, I hope.